The results of assembly elections in West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Assam are out. These aren't just numbers, they are seismic shifts. We have seen a 15-year-long fortress fall in the east, a cinematic debut in the south that has sidelined the Dravidian giants, and a historic revolving door returning in God's own country. In this episode of Polls on My Pod, our special election podcast series, we go beyond election rallies and decipher the shifting social coalitions through the election results. It is Tuesday, the 5th of May. From the Economic Times, I'm your host Nidhi Sharma, and you're listening to the Morning Brief. Today on Polls on My Pod, let's start with the state that has truly broken the political script, Tamil Nadu. For decades, Tamil Nadu followed a predictable pendulum pattern, flipping between the DMK and AIA-DMK every 5 years. But this time, the mandate feels different. Here, the script was written by a superstar. The debutant, TVK, led by actor Vijay, has pulled off an MGR moment. The state has cast aside the Dravidian parties and chosen a first-timer riding high on his star appeal and the youth vote. For the DMK, the anti-dynasty sentiment against Stalin Udayanidi's transition clearly hit hard. But what is Vijay's economic policy? He is a blank slate, and that's both exciting and terrifying for the manufacturing hub of Chennai. Let's understand from our correspondent and Morning Brief fellow host Diya Rekhi what the election results mean. So Diya, how do you explain this tsunami wave, whatever it is, in Tamil Nadu?
You can call it what you want, Nidhi, but I think as of now, people are quite, pretty much in shock, I would say. On the ground, a lot of people did want a change. They wanted to vote for TVK. But I think the magnitude and scale with which, he has managed to capture votes and possibly now seats is really quite remarkable for an electoral debut.
The factors that we had spoken about was the youth factor. Anything else that you can see on the ground that got TVK in power?
I think a couple of things, Nidhi. Like you rightly said, the youth factor was definitely one big factor. But I think what is interesting is that this is the first time that we have seen voter turnout of 84.69%. It has been the highest since independence. So a lot of the people who were going and voting were also first-time voters. So you can see that Gen Z, in a sense, has influenced these elections quite significantly. The other is definitely the woman factor. The woman vote has been very decisively with the TVK so far. The other aspect that I think is interesting to point out is that Vijay was being dismissed as being sort of like an urban phenomenon, That has not really been the case, because if you look at the map, you can see that TVK has pretty much done well statewide. So it's not like just the urban pockets, but even across the board through rural areas as well, that his popularity has really come through. And it's been a huge shakeup for the Dravidian majors, because a state that has so far been influenced by ideology, there's no clear ideology that Vijay really brings to the table, apart from the fact that he said, vote for me, give me a chance, and let's topple the DMK.
So, Diya, we've seen even AIA-DMK putting up a good show. How do you see this performance of AIA-DMK?
I think it's definitely put up a very, very strong front, Nidhi, because we've seen that anti-incumbency certainly was a factor. And it seems like the AIA-DMK's leaders have managed to ensure that their vote share isn't really as affected as the DMK's vote share has. What's interesting, Nidhi, is that most of the ministers in the DMK the sitting MLAs, most of them are not doing well. And we are seeing that even Stalin has lost his seat in Kolatur, which is something that I don't think anyone was expecting. So it seems like while the DMK has managed to lose more of their vote share to the TVK, the AIADMK has managed to sort of get by without losing as much.
Dia, how do you see TVK's victory now? Do we know what their economic policy is?
So, Nidhi, that's a great question. And I'm afraid I don't really have much of an answer to that because as of now, we're kind of entering this sea of unknown unknowns when it comes to Vijay, because he did put out a manifesto and I've sort of got a couple of points from there, which I can share with you. Which include sort of giving unemployed graduates 4,000 rupees per month, giving women heads of family below 60 years of age about 2,500 rupees a month. He has also put in populist measures like every family getting 6 free LPG cylinders per year. He said students will get education loans up to 60 lakh without collateral. He's also promised 50 lakh job opportunities for the youth. So you can see it's a mix of welfare and populist measures targeted mainly at the youth from what I could see. Nothing very clear on what his economic policies will be, his outlook to industry will be, nothing along that front. And I think that is what will make industry jittery because as we both know, businesses don't like uncertainty. And as of now, there is some uncertainty about how this will play out. And I think that might be something that will affect the state going forward.
So, Dia, what do we know about TVK's leadership? What is TVK beyond Vijay?
Again, Nidhi, I don't have too much of an answer for you there either because we don't know too many of TVK's leaders. Many people just don't know any of the candidates of the TVK because many of them are, first-time politicians in that sense. And even when I went on the ground, they kept saying that when I met these candidates, they kept saying that people don't need to know us. They need to know the whistle symbol. They need to know Vijay. I think one of the interesting aspects of Vijay's victory is also the fact that his most senior experienced member is K. Sengotayan, who has won the Gobi-Chettipalayam constituency. He's an ex-AIADMK MLA who joined the TVK in November 2025. And I foresee that he is going to play a very important role, apart from, of course, his general secretaries like Adav Arjuna and N. Anand and so on. But I think this man is going to be kingmaker.
Thanks so much, Dia.
Thank you so much, Nidhi, for having me. It was a pleasure.
Now we move eastwards and the state that is sending shockwaves. In West Bengal, BJP has won the election, casting aside Trinamool Congress, which ruled the state for 15 years. It was a combination of voter fatigue and a massive consolidation. The removal of nearly 89 lakh voters during the special intensive revision, which Mamata Banerjee fought tooth and nail, seems to have altered the arithmetic. I'm joined by Kumar Anshuman, who covers BJP for ET, and he explains what this victory means for BJP, the chief ministerial probables, and what next for Trinamool Congress. Welcome to the show, Anshuman. A big BJP tsunami in West Bengal. Do you think it was expected?
Well, Nidhi, last time when we spoke, I told you that there was an itching for change in Bengal. I mean, people were willing to try new things, and definitely BJP was the alternative. And BJP worked really hard on ground. I mean, countering TMC's politics of welfare, identity, and at the same time aspiration. Definitely it's a big boost for the BJP. I mean, especially when you are heading for crucial elections like UP in next year, Punjab is there, and Manipur, Goa is there, and then definitely 2029. I mean, I think BJP is at its strongest at this point of time since the party started this journey in 2014.
Anshuman, what happened for the Trinamool Congress? Apart from the anti-incumbency, do you think SIR and the rules that were, many people could not vote and a lot of minority voters had their names struck off. Do you think that also impacted and Trinamool's tally could not really match up?
So, Nidhi, SIR is one thing which, if you notice, it started with Bihar election, and there also opposition members raised a lot of issues. They went to Supreme Court. A lot of to and fro happened. It happened in Tamil Nadu also, and now in West Bengal. Even after Bihar election, there was no impact of SIR in Bihar. So to say that SIR is the reason TMC could not win, I met a lot of people. One of my friends was traveling from Bagdogra to Mumbai on 23rd April, the election day, first day, and he said that, most of the people sitting in that flight were minority people who only came to vote from Mumbai. So a lot of minority community voters who usually would not come to cast their vote, they all came because of this SIR, There was a fear that they can lose their citizenship. So if you see it on a different level, there was a higher polling from minority community voters. So to say that sucking out name from the SIR would be one reason, no, would not be the only reason, I would say. 15 years is a long period in the government. And a lot of voices were there on the ground, which people were fed up with the kind of, they were releasing corruption, they were releasing a fatigue with this government. Mamata Banerjee has nothing new to offer to the people. Welfare schemes which were running for the past 5 to 10 years, So people were used to what they were getting. Also, a good number of people believe that if BJP comes to power, development will come into the state. New companies will come in, investment will come in, which is a major problem for a state like West Bengal. Like all the neighborhood states, Odisha, Bihar, Jharkhand, they are getting investment in different terms, barring West Bengal. But Trinamool has nothing new to offer. They were talking more about what will happen if BJP comes to power than what they will offer when they will come again to power. The entire campaign strategy was showing that, something is off from Trinamool this time. And the results are clearly indicating towards that.
What happens to Trinamool Congress now? And it still holds sway because it has won a lot of seats, right?
If you see the West Bengal politics, earlier it was Congress, then left came to power. For a longer period of time, they ruled. And the same kind of voters they shifted to Trinamool. Now, 15 years Trinamool was in power. Now BJP has come to power with a new promise, saying they will end the syndicate rule. For TMC, the position now becomes little difficult because for any regional party to become a good player at the national level, going by the 2024 Lok Sabha election, the three biggest opposition parties after Congress, DMK, Trinamool and Samajwadi Party. DMK is decimated in Tamil Nadu. Now TMC has lost the ground. For a regional party to show some heft at the national level, it is very important that you are in power in the state or you hold some sway. We have seen this. So for Trinamool, which at times in the parliament used to take a different stand from other opposition parties, that would be difficult. To fight the BJP, largely, more or less, Trinamool will have to play under that large India bloc umbrella, going along with Congress rather than taking a separate stand or individual stand, which they used to take earlier because of the numbers and the powers in the state they had. Before this election, everyone was saying that if Mamata wins this election, she could be the opposition face. A lot of opposition-ruled chief ministers and leaders went to campaign for Mamata. Hemant Soren went and campaigned for her. Tejasvi Yadav of RJD, he went and campaigned for her. So it's a big blow for the entire opposition also. If Stalin and Mamata, the two big faces of the opposition, are losing, definitely India bloc is in a crisis at this point of time. For Trinamool, making a comeback would be difficult because it takes time. For a state like Bengal, they do not like to experiment quickly as in Tamil Nadu or other parts of the country. They go with the flow. They give ample time to a party or an alliance to do something. And if they see some change, so they stuck with it. In the states where BJP rules, largely it becomes a belief that because BJP is in center and BJP is in the states, so this double engine thing goes in favor of the BJP. Definitely, that also will be the case in West Bengal. So right now, it is very early to say something about Trinamool Congress. But we'll have to give some time to Mamata Banerjee to come out of this loss and then see what she goes further. How does she take it forward?
Anshuman, BJP Chief Minister.
Going by the trend of the BJP, it's very difficult to say that who will be the Chief Minister face. Half of the people think that, the BJP's chief minister should be of that RSS BJP background, who really struggled in the state in the early time. So if that counts, Dilip Ghosh becomes the face. But we have seen the adoptive policy of the BJP. It's a party which wants to expand in entire country, and it doesn't hesitate in giving power to a person like Samrat Chaudhary in Bihar or a person like Himanta Biswa Sarma in Assam. So in that case, definitely Shubhendu Adhikari in the last 5 years has really struggled hard. He's really suffered a lot, and he's really stood out as a leader. So my bet would be for Shubhendu Adhikari. He might get a chance as a BJP chief minister.
And what about BJP's trend of what the joke in the newsrooms is that you should always, in the photograph, in the group photograph, always look in the fourth row, and then that's where you'll find your chief minister. Any surprises?
That's true. It happens, at new places it's happened. But, the political situation is also different. That has happened where? That has happened in Uttarakhand. That happened in Madhya Pradesh. That happened in Rajasthan.
Yeah.
These are the states where BJP is traditionally very strong. That happened in Chhattisgarh. These are the Odisha. And politically, other parties are not the dominant ones. In Bihar or in West Bengal, BJP is the new entrant party. So at this point of time, it would like to take everyone along because it's a very politically very strong and vulnerable kind of state. So someone sitting in the fourth row may not get a chance, but who knows? BJP is known for giving surprises, to all the journalists. But
that's right.
The way Shubhendu Adhikari has worked for it, I think, most of the party leaders would agree that he could be the face.
Thank you so much, Anshuman. Thanks for being here. BJP has also retained its hold on Assam, winning a third term. Sitting Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma's grip on the administrative machinery and his polarizing yet effective welfare delivery has made the state a BJP stronghold that the resurgent Congress under Gaurav Gogoi simply couldn't dent. But in Assam, it isn't the defeat but also the scale of defeat for Congress that has made the results interesting. The newly appointed Congress chief Gaurav Gogoi has lost the election by a 21,000 vote margin. My colleague CL Manoj unpacks the results. So Manoj, do tell us about Assam. How do you see the results? Was it expected the way Congress has performed, and even Gaurav Gogoi has lost by 21,000 votes?
No, I think the Congress circles would be least surprised by not only the defeat, the scale of defeat. It is a hat-trick victory for BJP in a state which used to be very loyal to the Congress. And some of the changes the Congress leadership brought there right on the eve of election was highly questioned by party circles internally. The logic of changing the PCC president, a very senior person, who had effectively worked to even hold on to the Congress unity and also bring a larger anti-BJP alliance. And then you are sending a very relatively inexperienced Gaurav Gogoi. Gaurav Gogoi is an articulate person. He's young, articulate, he speaks good English, pedigreed. But he is a Lok Sabha member. Assam is a very big and very politically versatile states. For him to be the captain of Congress in such a state right before the elections, just because he may had a good personal equation with Rahul Gandhi, that is no reason to lead a state. I think he was inexperienced. He lacked a ground understanding of Assam, and his elevation gave another opening for Himanta Biswa Sarma to take away many valuable Congress leaders.
Kerala is the only state that offers a silver lining for the Congress. The Congress-led United Democratic Front has won the election as the state has returned to its policy of voting out the incumbent government. Manoj explains. Manoj, how do you see the results? Following the same pattern that Kerala is known for?
Yeah, Kerala is a course correction after a left 1-2 successive election. Kerala is back to its tradition of voting out the incumbent and bringing the opposition to power. And Congress, after 10 years, they have come back to Kerala. which is also the Congress party's most trusted state unit across India, which delivered the best individual tally from a state during the last 3 Lok Sabha election, when the Congress crumbled state after state. There's also a state that gave electoral shield, if not refuge, to both Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. So Congress party should be delighted that its Kerala unit once again delivered again when party was losing badly in many other states, even in these rounds.
How do you see what factors worked for the Congress and what went against, apart from the tenure in anti-incumbency? But what really worked for the Congress in...
last time when the Congress lost it, it was also, there are certain factors which was not in its control. For example, in 2021, the elections were held in the middle of COVID, which had restricted the campaign in a big way, and that affected the opposition party in a big way. Also, that time, the state government had given a lot of, free food kits, and there was an impression that, there's a pandemic, people are uncertain what will happen. So that time, they looked towards a government for protection, for treatment, even the basic needs. And that role, I think Pinarayi Vijayan played very well that time. But today's election defeat of the left also shows a huge anti-incumbency wave, which has also, as we said in the past, it was also a Pinarayi versus Pinarayi election. And also it should be very, it's a very comfortable victory for the Congress and the UDF allies. So there will be a stable government now for next 5 years. CPM will have a lot of things to worry because they are used to losing power. It's no problem. But in this election, many of these traditional strongholds, they have suffered defeats. And at least 3 party functionaries at a senior level, they had revolted against the leadership, declared themselves as independent candidates backed by the UDF. This may be also leading to a debate whether more than a defeat, CPM's own organizational structure or their political social base are under siege. The very comfortable numbers give the Congress central leadership a lot of space to firm up their choice rather than being dictated by various stakeholders there.
So where does that leave Mr. K.C. Venugopal? And obviously, who are the front runners for the Chief Minister?
The leader of the opposition is V.D. Satishan. Many look at him as a potential Chief Minister, also because in the past, leader of the opposition those time had become the Chief Ministers. For example, Karnagaran was leader of the opposition when Congress won, and then 2-3 times he became CM. He was leader of the opposition. So the last such case was Uman Chandi. Before that, Anthony was also leader of the opposition, but PCC president also. Then you have Ramesh Chennithala, is a very senior leader. He is also a member of the working committee, very important man, has been the longest serving PCC president for 9 years. His supporters would stake his claim. Then, of course, you have Mr. K.C. Venugopal, who is probably considered a very influential leaders in the Congress. It depends between him, Mr. Gandhi, they will decide whether he himself will go or they will decide somebody who suits them more.
Now we'll come to BJP.
It will be a very disappointing day for BJP in Kerala, not because they were expecting to be a contender for power or anything. Yet the amount of effort they made during the last 5-10 years, the attempt they made in social engineering, the resourcefulness with which they tried to expand. So there is also an attempt to invest heavily in the Christian belts, which strangely right before the election, the FCRA bill came and bombed that BJP campaign in the central Kerala area where they had invested a lot in wooing the sections of Christians. So the BJP, if you look at today's result, they will have to do a serious postmortem as to why Kerala remains a very difficult terrain for the BJP despite power in Delhi, springing so many victories in many other parts.
This is all we have for you. This episode was sound designed by Indranil Bhattacharjee and Amrit Reggie and produced by Anirban Chaudhary. Thank you for listening, and if you like this episode, do spread the word. All new episodes of the Morning Brief podcast drop every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday. Hope you enjoyed listening to this episode of the Morning Brief. I'm your host Nidhi Sharma, signing off.